Welcome to issue 34. I am here with Melissa from QIAGEN. How are you?
I'm great, doing wonderful today.
Good. So is this your first issue?
No, I've been to multiple issues.
Okay.
Okay. I think my first one was the 13th. The 13th?
Oh, wow.
And I was actually a student presenter. I had presented some work and I was so terrified being up on that stage. I remember walking into the room and seeing that grand, the big room, and just knees knocking up there. But I got through it. But then since then, I've been here multiple times.
How many issues have you been to with QIAGEN?
Well, with QIAGEN, that's been a recent acquisition with Verogen. So this would be officially my first year with QIAGEN since QIAGEN acquired Verogen back in January of this year.
Okay.
Nice. But then prior to that, I was with Verogen and I went to multiple issues. I mean, yeah, I have a handful.
Yeah.
I have lots of T-shirts.
Yeah. So speaking of the acquisition of Verogen by QIAGEN, tell me, what else does QIAGEN have going on? What else is new with QIAGEN?
Great. So QIAGEN in itself has always been, representative in the forensic community. And in Verogen, we spun off of Illumina. So I was with Illumina where we were introducing the NGS platforms to the forensic community. So by having a QIAGEN Verogen acquisition, it kind of completed that workflow because QIAGEN, has lots of offerings with regards to the forensic workflow, but not necessarily in the NGS space. Right. By acquiring Verogen, we fit that area. Now we have a complete workflow and we can, basically like to think that we can answer the forensic lab's needs with whatever portion of the workflow they need.
So all the way from extraction to NGS.
Exactly. Even data collection. Because QIAGEN also offers collection swabs. There's, we have different platforms there. So, we even go one step before extraction with me.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, it is. It is. So.
So tell us more about this NGS or next generation sequencing space that QIAGEN now has.
Okay. So in general, with NGS, it's what else can we do with a sample? We've done everything we can. STRs are out there. It's been the gold platform. I don't see them going away. It's CE. It's the gold platform. But the question is, what else can we do with a sample? And, sometimes a limited sample. What else can we do? So that's where NGS comes into play. There's so many different options now, whether it is working with STRs, whether we're bringing in SNPs, whether we're utilizing SNPs for the genetic genealogy. So that's a big area in the realm. There's so many talks here this week on, FIG and all that. So that's where NGS is a real player in bringing that to the forensic labs and enabling the lab to do it in their own lab, not always shipping it out, being able to do it in their own lab. And that's where it is.
So QIAGEN has a new kit, I believe, with NGS?
Yes. So, we have several different kits. Okay. The most recent one that made news this year was MainstAY because it became NDIS-approved. Now, MainstAY is an STR kit that just focuses on the autosomal and Y STRs. Okay. So we gained NDIS approval for that. And that's big for the forensic community here in the U.S. That's really important. Right. The other kit I would say that's not necessarily new this year, but still newer to the forensic community is Kintelligence. Okay. And that targets over 10,000 SNPs. Again, looking at that, looking at the genetic genealogy, looking at the kinship aspect of it. So enabling labs to do this in their own lab. So that's where, I would say, although not necessarily new, but that comes in. And that also then brings in GEDmatch Pro and then the database to help search those samples.
We really know a lot about Kintelligence. But you said the MainstAY is now NDIS, so National DNA Index System.
Yeah.
Why is that important? Why is it important that it's NDIS approved?
That's where it's important in order for the forensic lab to be able to upload their samples to the database. They want to be able to do a search. If they don't have the NDIS approval on the kit, they can't put those samples up, and then they kind of, you have a profile and nothing to do with it. So it's very important for the STRs to have that NDIS approval.
So you said this is your first issue with QIAGEN, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So what role do you play at QIAGEN?
So I currently transitioned to a product manager position. So my title is Senior Global Product Manager. of the Verogen product line. So again, since that's been my experience, I'm moving into that. I've always been in the technical realm. Prior to this, I was a global FAS manager, so working with, training the forensic labs. The majority of my career has been supporting forensic labs. I think I've been supporting forensic labs in a training capacity 15, 16 years or so. Yeah. So I started off my career at FDLE. Okay. I was an analyst. Yep. Yeah. So I was a crime lab analyst in Florida. Started off there, and then had an opportunity to work for AB. And now they've gone through plenty of name changes. I went through those also. Mm-hmm. But I've been supporting forensic labs in that capacity. So it's always been exciting for me to work in this realm, being on the cutting edge, and then helping and seeing forensic labs be successful.
Right.
Because every time we bring out something, we want labs to be successful.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where, being at the meeting is wonderful, because you get to talk with everybody and even talk with my peers at, or co-peers at Promega, QIAGEN, all the different labs and different vendors. So even talking with them, because then you see what else is out there and how else things can work together.
Right. So what is your favorite part about ISHI? What keeps you coming back?
One, that it's a DNA focused meeting. I go to different meetings throughout, globally now. But I really enjoy this meeting because it's DNA focused. I also enjoy this meeting because of the people that come here. All right, so it's not only the content of the presentations. I think that's spectacular, but sometimes it takes a side note of just being able to communicate with everybody here. And like I said, it's like visiting old friends. Even last night I was talking to people. We called it like it's like a reunion. You get to it truly is, and especially after COVID. Seeing everybody, it was like, oh, I haven't seen you in several years. But even now, coming in here and seeing people, it is exciting. My face usually hurts by the end of the day from smiling so much. No, truly. But I love the receptions. I look forward to the events, on the Wednesday night. There's always a spectacular event. So it's great communication amongst the forensic labs. And I love seeing that the other forensic labs also, like they start to mingle in too with each other, and then they get to see what other labs are doing. So I think it's powerful. So I think the best thing about this ISHI meeting is just the transfer of knowledge from my stance, from a vendor stance to the labs, but then also lab to lab. I just think all that communication and everybody talking makes us even more powerful, because you see what other labs are doing and you're like, oh, I love that. I love that idea. I can bring that into my lab, or let's see how we can make that work.
Right.
I think that's the most powerful thing about this meeting. That's pretty spectacular.
So every time you leave ISHI, you're kind of feeling empowered.
I do.
Would you say?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. It's a great meeting. No, it truly is. It's a great meeting.
Well, thank you for speaking.
Oh, thank you.
Enjoy the rest of ISHI.
All right. Thank you so much. All right.